This conference will now be recorded.
Clock. All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. We're going to get this meeting started. If everybody would please stand and remain standing. We're going to start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Caldwell, would you mind doing it?
Most gracious and heavenly Father God, we thank you, dear Lord, for this evening. Thank you for bringing everyone here. We pray, Father, that we will feel your hand and your presence upon everything that happens in these proceedings, dear Lord, and that everything is done in accordance with your will and your purpose. And we pray this prayer to you in Jesus' holy and precious name. Amen.
Amen. If you would, remain standing, we'll have a moment of silence for your neighbors who passed away, and one of which was Mike Knuckles. All right, thank you so much. Please have a seat. And if you would, at this time, check your phones. Make sure you got your ringtones down or off. And at this time, I'll ask anybody, member of the board, if you have a conflict of interest with anything that's on the agenda. Glasses on. All right, and next up is the adoption of the agenda. We have an addition to add right off the bat, which is going to be item 13A, discussion clarification of the multi-use path project. I believe Commissioner Martin, did you want to add?
Yes, I have two items I'd like to add. 8A, I would like for the town attorney to give a history of the current land dispute on the end of Live Oak Drive. Also, add 14, boat ramp improvement discussions. That's all I have.
Any other additions? If not, motion to approve the agenda with the additions.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
All right, all in favor? All right, next up is public comment. We have a couple people signed up to speak. First is John Rittenberg, I think is the last name. John, not here? Going once, going twice. We're moving on. Next up is it Colleen? Colleen, yes, ma'am. You would just step up to the podium there. And just state your name and your address, please, for the record.
Colleen Horodnik, and I'm at 205 Easy Street. I came basically with a question, I'm not sure you can answer quite now, about the Bay Shore Park lawsuit. I have spoken to Mr. King. I've called here and asked if we could get some questions answered. I don't know if you're doing that afterwards or now.
We're gonna be talking, that's what he added to the agenda. Was
That's
to
what
have
that was?
our
Okay.
town lawyer say what we can about it.
Okay, my main concern, and I feel it is a responsibility of the town, we were mailed letters. We didn't have to sign for them, nothing. There are a lot of people in my neighborhood who don't live there full time. There are a lot of elderly people in my neighborhood. Who is protecting them and making sure that they are getting these letters, that they understand these letters, they don't think they're scams? I think that's something the town needs to be addressed. It's almost, I talk to people and everybody says, we don't know if it's true, we don't know if it's a scam, but nobody's talking about it. And it seems to be a very silent thing. I don't know why the whole town was added to the lawsuit. I can guess because I read one of the maps in the lawsuit that says there's supposed to be, I think it's at 50 feet, but it's very tiny lettering, a right of way to the end of the street. So everybody in Bay Shore Park can use it, which has never been because it's always been listed with a big sign, private road. Nobody ever knew. We still don't know that, but all of a sudden it's on this little tiny map. I don't really care, whichever way the court decides. But to involve all these people with who have no protection, make sure they have the optimum choice, do they want to be in this? Do they not want to be in this? And to have the facts. Why isn't there more information out there? I've looked and looked, I've spoken to people, and I think the town needs to be involved in that.
Well, I'll just say this, because I don't want to hinge on what Laura's going to say, but because it is a lawsuit, we have to be very careful what we say.
I understand that.
But hopefully we'll have a little information for you.
Thank you.
Now, I regret y'all are having to do with that, I really am. Okay, and that is it for public comment. Do we have anybody online? If not, okay. Next up is the planning board report. Mr. Truax. Good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Go right ahead.
I'm Minnie Truax, and I'm the chair of the planning board. And we had our meeting August 19th. And we went through some things for the planning board. We had the opportunity to look at the plans for Taco Bell at 301 McLean Road. And at this time, we have tabled it to get more information on that. We also have approved the Bahita and Manatee land, and it's coming before the commissioners tonight to be approved. And that was voted, all approved it. And also we worked on the town of the stormwater regulations, which Mr. Foxworth reviewed with us. And maybe he'll speak of that tonight. And our next meeting is going to be September 16th, is on Tuesday. And anybody would like to get the minutes, Miss Mitchell, our administrative assistant, be glad to provide that for you. And we would like y'all to attend the meeting September 16th. And that's all I've got to say for tonight. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, next up is 8A. Brett, tell us what you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, and thanks for the public comment. I'll try to give you the Reader's Digest of what has transpired. So there's a dispute between the Holts and the Hortons over whether that road is private or not. Right? That's the dispute. The town's been named within the lawsuit as well. The town is not taking a position, and just like you, when you stated, whatever the judge decides is what the town will abide by. As part of that dispute, the Hortons attorneys made a motion to include other parties to the lawsuit because it gets into some legalese here, but whether you're a proper or a necessary party, because some of your rights could be impacted by a result of the lawsuit. Whether it goes one way or the other, your rights could be impacted. And therefore, the judge ordered at the Hortons' request that everybody in Bayshore be added to the lawsuit, right? And that happened many, many months ago. A motion to reconsider was filed by the Holt's attorney trying to exclude the Bayshore, all the residents from having to be part of the lawsuit. The judge denied that motion to reconsider. So right now, the judge's ruling is that the Bayshore residents need to be parties to the lawsuit. What normally happens after that is the lawsuit is served on everybody in the neighborhood, all the parties. And that service has to be done in certain ways where you get notified of that, whether that's by sheriff, by certified mail, or if they can't get in touch with you that way, there could be a possibility of publication. What you received in the mail was not notification of the lawsuit. It was a letter sent by the attorney for Ms. Holtz to determine whether the recipients of that mailing wanted to participate in the lawsuit or not, and there was a waiver included in that. I will say that the town cannot provide legal advice to all of its residents. We have to only represent the town in this matter, but it is unusual for a waiver of that nature to go out before a lawsuit. So I would encourage everybody to speak with an attorney, whether it's as a group of you or however, so you can get some information from people who are, from an attorney who's not biased in a lawsuit. whether, I mean, if you go to Ms. Holt's attorney, of course, he's going to be representing her interests. If you go to the Hortons attorneys, they're going to be representing their interests. The town's attorney, of course, I represent the town, and by the town being what this board would like us to do in the lawsuit. So I do think it's important that you engage in that process to get a better idea of what you would be waiving or what you would not be waiving. The town at no point requested anybody in Bay Shore to be added to the lawsuit. We're not taking a position on anything in the lawsuit, and whatever happens will happen. I know that everybody received this on Labor Day weekend, I believe, is when this the mailing was received. Now I realize how it's confusing to people and scary to people. I will say to you that I don't believe any relief is sought against any of the members, right? So they're not asking for money from you or anything of that nature. I,
If they lose the lawsuit, they are asking lawyers' costs and all other things.
yeah. What?
So if they lose, all of us who are named will become liable.
I'd encourage you to talk to an attorney about that. I do not believe that that is what they're requesting of you. It's more of a fact that you are, now does it say in the lawsuit? Yes, they all say that. Okay. All lawyers put the cost, but you should speak with an attorney of your own choosing to determine whether you need to participate in a lawsuit, whether you don't need to participate in a lawsuit, and what you could or could not be giving up by participating in the lawsuit. So that would be what I would encourage everybody to do, whether it's as a group or individually. It's unfortunate. I can tell you that this town, this board had nothing to do with that. We were unwilling participants in the lawsuit as well. The town was added. We didn't really want to be part of this fight. We see this as more of a dispute between the Holtz and the Hortons, and of course, but the town will certainly abide by whatever the judge does. I think that I'm happy to entertain a question or two, Mr. Mayor, if you'd like. Yes, sir.
Two questions, please. What rights will we be giving up? First question. Second question is the town signing the loan or lawsuit or not signing the lawsuit?
Okay. The first question, I cannot advise you on what rights you're giving up or not. That's why I'm telling you to speak to an attorney. Okay. As the town's attorney, I can't advise individual members of the community as to what their rights they're giving up or not giving up. I do encourage you to speak to an attorney. We just have ethical obligations. I know that's not an answer you want to hear, but I don't want to get disbarred over anything, right? So my wife doesn't want me to, and my kids certainly don't until I get them through college. But I just cannot provide that advice. And
I'm not asking for advice. I'm asking for what rights are we giving up?
well, that is advice. That's what the bar would consider advice. So I just can't give you that. So I encourage you to talk to an attorney. The town signed the lawsuit. I think what you meant by that is, were we served with the lawsuit? Yes, we were served with the lawsuit over a year ago. We filed an answer in that lawsuit. We participated as little as we can possibly participate in the lawsuit. The town's really not taking a position one way or the other. We see this as a dispute between these two citizens of this community.
But we should not take it either. Just throw the letter away.
That's totally up to you. What I would encourage you to do is to speak to an attorney. That's all I can do. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I supposed to spend my money to a lawyer that I don't need.
Understood. I understand.
Yeah, and I want to go back to my original question. What if anything, what can the town do to protect the people in Bay Shore Park who may not have received this letter giving that option? Is there, I mean, this is like hidden, secret. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody knows about it. As you said, this happened months ago. And boom, we just got served a couple weeks ago. Is there anything the town can do to help people understand what's going on and to be informed of the letters that have been sent out, so they have the opportunity?
Yeah, I think that tonight, that's what Commissioner Martin and this board wanted me to do, is to at least give you some idea of what the town can and cannot do. We cannot represent individual members of the community. That's what we cannot do. If the lawsuit was actually served upon you, that letter that you received, or at least Commissioner Martin showed me, got a copy of, that is not the lawsuit. Okay. There was no summons attached to it or anything of that nature. The lawsuit lawsuit should be served on people personally. Right? And by that, I mean, it's either going to come by sheriff, or certified mail, where someone in your household signs for it. If folks don't live here, then they would still have to be served with the lawsuit.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, how can the town help people understand or inform that we have received this opt-out letter? By the time the lawsuit is served on them, it's too late. They're in it.
Yeah,
But people have no knowledge of what's happening to them. A lot of people have no knowledge that they're going to be in a lawsuit if this is not publicized.
Did the town opt out, sign that letter, and return it to the attorney?
no, sir. The town's part of the lawsuit.
Oh, so you're not opting out?
We're already in it. Yes, sir.
We had no idea that those letters were going to go out and this was going to get to this point. But we can't, and as Brett says, we have to be very careful with what we try to do, and any information that we try to give you, we've got to be very careful. We're going to be dragged right into it any deeper. I regret this has gotten to the point that where your entire neighborhood has been dragged into this quagmire. It's been going on for a long time now. I just hope that perhaps they can resolve it soon.
Don't people get their mail forwarded?
Well, like he said, this isn't a summons. What you got was not a summons. And if you are actually become part of the lawsuit, you will be summoned and you will get a certified letter. You won't be regular mail like you got that letter.
But they should get regular mail, so they would get that notice.
They would get a notice, that's
It
correct.
came out on Labor Day.
Yeah, Ms. Dottie, we don't know
But
where
that's-
it was sent. I mean, we know that a lot of people received it, but I don't know what addresses were used. I just don't know that information as to.
Brett,
who
I'm
got
going
it.
to say one little small thing here. They probably took the address and the names off the tax parcel.
Right.
Sure.
So the part-time residents more than likely got them. I haven't verified that. But I'm waiting on one person to get back with me that lives in New Bern to see if they got theirs. So that's just my guess.
I would assume that's correct. I mean, that's where I would go if I needed to do that.
That's Mr. King.
Mr. King's the attorney for Ms. Holtz.
Okay. It's Mike King. Getting very-
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Each part that's in the streets, I've been told that the original deed back in whatever, when the neighborhoods got established, each lot owner owned this part of the park and in the street, had access to the water. So my question is, does the town own these parks, or does an individual, or us as a homeowner, do we own the park? And is that what the lawsuit's about, easement or access to the water from these parks and in the streets?
The lawsuit's about the streets themselves, whether they're public or private. That's what the lawsuit about. This is, I believe at the end of Live Oak, we did buy a park down there that the town actually owns a park. That was, how many years ago did we buy that park? There's a park down at the end of Live Oak that the town bought in,
Not on Live Oak.
that's, am I thinking of a different road?
Yes. No, you're thinking.
I'm sorry.
You're thinking of Lejeune.
I'm thinking of Lejeune. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a different road.
There's no park at the end of that road, but
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about was certain ends of the road, like down here, Needaport and all that. We have parks at the end of
Yeah,
it.
both
There is
sides.
no park at the end of that one. But here again, now we're getting to where we got to be careful what we say because it's all about, is it private or is it a town road?
That's right. That's what the dispute's about, whether the road is private or not on that street.
That particular street?
That
Yes,
particular
at the
street.
end of that street to be specific, at the end of the street. What it's all about. And I regret that all y'all have been dragged into this with this letter. It's there again, I'm trying to be careful what I say, how I feel about it, but
Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir.
If everybody in Bayshore decided waivers they need and make this lawsuit, thinking of everybody in Bayshore, there's no problem, it really don't serve a purpose to nobody in Bayshore. What I, other than this, is arguing about the end of that road. They walk a kind and who's the battle between the town and them two fighters that's fighting for the rights to it, or the town won't be out of it, and they just gonna have to figure it out themselves as to who's gonna own the rights to the end of that road.
property that's.
The town is going to abide by whatever the judge decides. Okay, so whatever the court says that road, whether it's private or public, that's what the town's going to abide by. We're not advancing a position. We're saying to the court, we're willing to abide whatever ruling you come up with. Of course, there are historical documents that the reason we're part of this is because there are historical documents within the town's file that the parties disagree as to the significance of. And so that's why the town's part of it. So the town will be a part of the lawsuit. We don't, it's an interesting case where as a party, the town is not taking a side, one side or the other. It is maintaining just the neutrality as best as we can.
This letter that I received, and I'm just a full-time resident, I don't know why. I don't know, and I've never been to the end of the street. There's nothing there, but, I hope this never happens, but, another year or two, and that could be the water. I mean, if like storm comes, as far as it sets out at the point, it can all be took away. I don't understand why everybody in Bayshore, and including the judge, I don't know why that was his decision, and I know you all know. So that should be a matter between them two. If the town is going to release the liability of maintaining that street or have in the years past, I don't know. So it shouldn't have nothing to do with Bayshore. It should just be between them two people.
Yep, we agree. We agree.
According to this letter, I can sign and send it in with a self-addressed envelope, and I can be waived against any lawsuit. And if I don't do that, then down the road, I can be a part of the lawsuit.
I do think that the judge's ruling is that everybody that is in Bayshore should be part of that lawsuit. Now, of course, can you waive that right? Sure. And that's what I'm encouraging everybody to talk to an attorney as to whether that makes sense for you or not.
There are many ways to opt out. Judge has tentatively agreed. Doesn't say, you signed this, you're out. Doesn't say that.
I'm sorry, couldn't give more information. I know that this is stressful on everybody, and certainly the town doesn't want to have any of its citizens have stress. So we're doing the best we can.
May I ask one question? Has the town of Cape Harbor Ranch ever maintained that?
Minnie, that is something that is in, I don't want to comment on because I think that the parties may disagree as to what that is. Again, the town is, I don't think recently we've used PAL bill money or anything of that nature for that part of the road. But I haven't been down here since 1950s or whenever it was created. So it's very hard for any of us to know. Yes, ma'am.
That's correct.
That's it. That's the dispute.
There's been a lot of staff time that's been burnt from these two parties trying to get all this information. So, there's a lot of work been happening behind the scenes with us just trying to get the information to get this resolved as quickly as possible because we don't want to see it drag out anymore. I hope they can resolve this as soon as possible. Sarah, again, I can't apologize to you guys enough for y'all being brought into this. It's on the verge of insane. But hopefully it'll be resolved soon. That's the only thing I can tell you.
We thought 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been going on a while. I wish we could tell you more, but because, like I say, we're in this too, unwillingly, of course, and we just like to see it resolved. Wish we could tell you more. Yeah.
Thank you, Brett. Yes, sir.
All right. Next up is the consent agenda. Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, thank you. All right, we have a consideration of an ordinance amendment for Chapter 73, Traffic Schedule 3, Speed Limits. First, we got to have a public hearing, but if you would just give us an overview, Gene, and then we'll go into the public.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to. And it's just going to be a brief overview. As y'all are aware, sometime back
NCDOT at the town's request lowered the speed limit from 45 miles an hour to 35 miles an hour on 24 within the corporate limits of the town. While it's been posted here for some time, our ordinance doesn't reflect that. So what for you tonight is that ordinance amendment and the appropriate public hearing to make that ordinance amendment.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, second.
Second.
All in favor? All right. We are now at a regular session and we are in the public hearing, and we do not have anybody sign up to speak regarding, did we? Okay, and nothing on the internet, so I'll entertain a motion to go out of public hearing.
Make the motion.
Second that one as well.
Okay, all in favor? All right, we are now back in regular session. Any comments or questions for Gene on this? It's really simple.
It's 35. It's been there a while.
Yeah, it's been there.
Yep.
This is just a paperwork thing, but anyway, anybody want to make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the resolution amending Chapter 73.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you very much. And we need to have the consideration, we don't have to do the,
No, sir.
okay. just
Not
want
for
to
this. It's not up to the motion.
make sure I'm doing the right thing.
Yes, sir.
I look forward to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm shy.
All right, site plan approval, 110 Manatee Street and 113 Bonita Street.
Yes, sir. This is another somewhat quick one. So back in the summer, y'all rezoned these combined parcels, the parcels at 110 Manatee Street, 113 Bonita Street, rezoned to B20 to accommodate an office building. With the new process that we're using now with technical review, you'll see in your packet the different agencies that this went out to for comment. At the planning board's last meeting, they reviewed the comments, and made a recommendation of approval. The technical review comments have been met at this point. Glad to answer any questions you have about it.
I want to compliment you on the agencies that you reached out to review this plan. Thank you, Gene.
Thank you, sir.
That had to help the planning board a great deal.
Yeah, I will say I do like this format. It's
Yeah.
a good format. It's easy, concise. So I do like that format.
Thank you, sir.
All professional.
Yeah.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the site plan
Okay.
that was approved by the planning board.
All right,
I'll second.
all right, all in favor? All right, next is the appointment of ILA alternate representative.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint someone.
Okay,
Charlie Evans.
Charlie Evans.
I'll second that.
Okay. If there's not anybody else, you want to vote for approval for Charlie Evans to be the alternate?
Good with it? I assume you've talked to him.
Yeah, he's okay. He wants anything he can do, he's happy about.
All right, that's good enough for me.
Okay,
You want to make a vote?
all right, so we have, get a second.
We got a second.
Okay, John, second. I'm sorry, just trying to keep up.
That's okay.
All right, all in favor? All right, thank you. I'll let Charlie know. And next up is town manager report. Gene.
Yes, sir. I have a quick report for you tonight. On August 26th, the town has been talked about a whole bunch, but the town formally closed on the Bayshore property, which is a big move for us. So starting into 2026, the town will have two boating accesses, the one at Manatee Street and the one at the end of Bayshore that we were just discussing. The next few months, you'll start to see public works staff out there on site. Starting this week, you'll actually see some public works staff on site, kind of leveling the site out and starting some other things. So we're working towards pass sales starting in November,
and opening the boat ramp January 1. So we're on track to get that done. Next item I have is the League of Women Voters and the Chamber of Commerce is hosting a candidate forum at 6 o'clock here at Town Hall this year. Voting, I know in years past, has been done both at Vogue and at the Western Park Community Center. So all of Crib Carter will vote at the Western Park Community Center this year. So no more voting over in Vogue. Just as a quick update, October 16th through the 29th, early voting will be held from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. On Saturday, November 1st, they're going to hold it from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Election day voting is November 4th, as I mentioned, at the Western Park Community Center, and it'll start at 6:30 and go to 7:30 that evening. Some exciting things with Fall Fest this year, some new things at Fall Fest this year. We are going to have a fun run starting at 8 a.m. at White Oak. So that sign up is on the town's website. It's gone out to all the schools. So Commissioner Barnhill thought of this fun idea to include this year with costumes and a run on the trail since it's completed. So look for details there on the website. We also have flyers in Town Hall, and hope folks will come run, walk, and participate in that. The trail and reflection area ribbon cutting will be at 11 o'clock at the gym. This is all on October 25th. So there'll be a formal ribbon cutting for the trail there. And then Fall Fest starts from 11 to 5 at Town Hall. We've got a couple of really good bands coming to play. The Mayor's Band will play from 1 to 2:30. Salty Bones is playing from 11 to 12:30, and then the Southern Hellcats from 3 to 5. So we'll have more detail in our next month's newsletter that we put out about that as we kind of get a little closer, but it looks like it's probably going to be our biggest Fall Fest yet as far as vendors. We actually had to expand the area we're holding it a little bit this year to accommodate everyone. Our next vegetative debris collection is October 6th. So y'all see more about that, and that advertised a little more coming up. We just this week, or last week, excuse me, got the tree lighting in cooperation with the Girl Scouts scheduled. So that'll be December 1st. There'll be hot chocolate, cookies, and Santa from 5:30 to 7, and then the Christmas tree lighting at 7 right here in front of the Girl Scouts. And the Santa tour this year will be December 16th and 17th. That's a Tuesday and Thursday night, the 16th south of 24, and then the 17th north of 24. That's all I have at this time.
Nice. All right.
That was an intense report.
Yeah. Any questions for Gene?
I got one.
Wait, John.
Gene, in years past, we've had music in the summer. We've coordinated with the Seaside Arts Council. I know this year we didn't make it. Can we as a town maybe get somebody that sits on the board to bring that request up? For music in the summertime like we did the last couple of years?
Absolutely. We just won't have the Arts Council paying for it. We have to pay for it ourselves. But if
Well,
the board wants to do that, it really doesn't cost that
I'll
much.
be more than happy to raise some money.
Okay. Well, I'll be more than happy to book the bands.
Okay.
Any other questions for Gene? All right, we'll do our additions now. 13A, discuss a clarification of the multi-use path project. Courtney?
So I just want to make a statement to the public about our carbon reduction program grant money that we received about a year ago. And I wrote it all down because there's a lot and I don't want to leave anything out. So over a year ago, on July 8th, 2024, the board voted unanimously 5-0 to adopt a resolution formally accepting up to $920,000, which is nearly $1 million, in grant funds from the North Carolina Carbon Reduction Program. These are federal transportation funds administered by the NCDOT, designated to construct a 1-mile multi-use pedestrian and bike path from Yo Pond Drive to Bayshore Drive, and to make crossing improvements at Manatee, Anita Fort, and Taylor Notion Road. The town's local match of $230,000 was to be spread across up to 5 fiscal years, with the first $20,000 already budgeted for design work in our budget in 24-25. This project was not speculative. It was approved and budgeted, and even awarded $144,000 more than the original request, a clear vote of confidence from NCDOT in both the merit and urgency of this project. While this, I'm sorry, start back. Cape Carteret, the geographics and the roads are, we have distinct neighborhoods like Old Cape Carteret, Cape Point, Bay Shore, Country Club Point, Star Hill, and our NC 24 commercial corridor. As our former town manager, Frank Rush, stated, NC 24, Taylor and Ocean Road, and Deer Creek are all impediments to pedestrian and bicyclists. The multi-use path would create a safe, accessible pedestrian and bike route between residential neighbors and commercial areas, improve connectivity and promote walkability, support our small business, schools, and churches, and foster a greater sense of community and quality of life. Crosswalk upgrades were key for the improvement with its public safety and to reduce traffic conflicts. Unfortunately, then during the engineering request for letters of interest process, I think I got that right, the top rank RK&K returned a quote of $700,000 for design work alone, far exceeding the $120,000 engineering grant allocation, and our internal expectation was supposed to be under $200,000. Despite the cost shock, the town had clear options: terminate RK&K per the Mini Brooks Act and negotiate with the next qualified firm. 2, rebid the engineering with tighter scope and cost expectations. 3, continue with the design only, even if construction was delayed until additional funds or county partnerships would be secured. Instead, a 4-to-1 informal consensus led to the town manager's notification of NCDOT that Cape Carteret wishes to abandon this project entirely, despite no formal board vote and despite the prior unanimous approval. This is now on tonight's agenda to inform the public and finalize a direction. The $230,000 local match was always intended to be phased over 5 years. The town had already budgeted $20,000 for design this year, identified motor vehicle tax revenue, capital revenues, and general fund adjustments as potential funding sources, and had a 5-year window to complete the project. Abandoning the project now would forfeit the largest grant in our town's history, likely harm our eligibility for future infrastructure and environmental grants, and waste 12 months of planning, public input, and coordination that went into securing this award. There was also the Western Carteret Bicycle and Pedestrian Survey that was taken last year, and 69% of the respondents wanted bike pedestrian infrastructure projects. So I do not support walking away from this project. We owe it to our residents, particularly Bay Shore and Country Club Point, to follow through on what we promised. If engineering firms come too high, we fix it. We don't throw the entire grant away. The quote from RK&K was excessive. I would not support asking them for another proposal ever again. But the fix is clear: rebid or go to the next firm as allowed under law. This path isn't just pavement. It's about safety. It's about vision. It's about responsible governance. It's about doing what's right, even when it takes work. And also, when I found out and learned about the decision on August 21st, I immediately reached out to our county commissioners, emailed all of them, spoke to 3 of them, Celeste Cairns and our previous town leadership, to explore options to keep the project alive. They were all in support and believed that there was something that could be done, but I just ran out of time. Time was not on my side. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Courtney.
Mhm.
Any comments?
Well, I mean, I think it was a very good, viable project when we had the vision to do it. We basically, when you look at the timeline, we basically talked and discussed and approved the project. And then we went into this budget with somewhat of a revenue neutral, trying to preserve. And we knew that revenues and our budget was going to be tight. And then lo and behold, we had the opportunity to purchase the Bayshore ramp. And so what we were trying to do is these expenses come out of the general fund, and to the rest of us, it was a little more fiscally responsible to hold that general fund and not spend more money out of that. So while it was a sizable grant, the town was going to have a bill of $230,000. And so we just wanted a little bit of time to get between the Bayshore ramp purchase and possibly other capital improvements that weren't extremely high priority. If this were a draining problem or a drainage problem somewhere else in town, absolutely. It wouldn't even need to be discussed. We've also discussed other connectivity solutions, not just having a sidewalk, but offering other connectivity issues or solutions to provide what that sidewalk would have provided. So I feel like we gave it a good discussion, but just where we are with things, I think it's kind of good with what we decided as a consensus to sort of terminate this project. So
Can I comment?
Yeah, you brought it up.
Well, I feel like we did not exhaust all our options. So I feel like we could have asked for an extension from NCDOT. I feel like we should have terminated the first bid and went to the next one because $700,000 is excessive. It's absurd. Or rebid and send it back out and at least use some of that money. That's $1 million. If somebody said, Courtney, come up with $230,000, I'll give you 920. I'm doing it. I mean,
if you could come up with a 230,
I could come up with it. I mean, I'd go get all my buddies. Come on, I'll give you 10% back on your money. That's just crazy. That's the largest grant this town's ever had, and this is what the people want. They did a survey, so that's just upsetting to me. So I'm just disappointed. Has NCDOT got back with you?
No.
So we could still ask for an extension?
That
If
was
we
the
would
direction-
vote?
If that was the direction of the board.
That's what our citizens want.
I think
I feel like
I think that data actually predates the decision for this project,
for what project?
the one that we're discussing.
So on, let's see, July 8th, 2024, Mayor Pro Tem Martin stated he would like the path to be finished as soon as possible because the longer we wait, the more it will cost. He said he would like to see the work begin as soon as the design is approved and not stop until the path is complete.
I don't know that we're talking about the same path.
Yeah, we're talking about the multi-use path
That would be the one
right here.
going around the center of town.
No, this is, Rush stated the grant awarded amount was more than $776,000. We requested, the town was awarded $920. Mayor Pro Tem Martin asked if this is approved, that Mr. Rush reach out to the county to request help with the matching fund of $200,000. Mr. Rush stated he would be happy to make that request to the county. Mr. Rush added that he would want to construct the project as quickly as possible, but there will be a 5-year deadline on it. Mr. Rush agreed that this price would only be going up, and if the board's direction is to work quickly on it, he will be working to construct it as soon as possible. That's it.
John?
If we were to consider this, how much would taxes go up, Gene?
I don't know at all. Nothing. I mean, are you talking about to
If
pay for
we were
this?
to,
Well,
if we were to go
one-
take this other project on,
1 cent creates about $75,000.
so in order to raise,
Guys, if y'all could keep it down, please.
so if you're up, if say we were into it for 750,000, we're looking at 10 cents. Ballpark, we're looking at $1.5 million, we're looking at 20 cents. Tax rate increase. My only question is, Courtney, you gonna be here for 4 years, or you gonna run for county commissioner? because what you're asking us to do is to raise taxes on these people right here, right now. And that's wrong. We can't afford it.
So on May 12th, 2025,
Courtney,
this year's
we
budget is
cannot
conservative,
afford it.
and while it does not provide for
You
any new
understand nothing.
initiatives, it does include funding through the capital project ordinance for the completion of the multi-use path and trail. I don't know what, I mean, we already determined where we would get the money, so
We gotta pay the money back.
we're not
Nope.
saying we have to use it all either. Why can't we do a rebid and see what, we could just do the design. Don't throw away $1 million, nearly $1 million in grant money. That's our taxpayer money.
2 cents worth.
Any more comments? Okay. All right, moving on. The next item is boat ramp improvements. Mr. Martin?
Yeah, we just closed on the Bayshore Boat Ramp property, and I wanted to ask the board to give Gene consensus to come back to the board in October with cost and potential revenues to put in boat slips down there, which in my feeling revenues offset tax increases. So any other improvements that you see that you need down there, Gene?
So there's a couple of small improvements, yes, sir, but
Okay.
they're not substantive.
Well, my understanding is the previous owners conveyed engineering plans for boat slips,
They did, yes, sir. And
which creates positive revenue to eliminate having to raise taxes
yes, sir.
through user fees. So I'm asking the board to give you consensus to investigate the cost and the potential revenue return for installing those ramps, or excuse me, the slips. So,
Yeah, I think
With
that's,
that,
I think it's worth a pursuit to see if
Yeah, let's see what it's going to cost.
I know that's not much time, Gene, but I think you already have the engineer study for the slips. Is that correct?
They conveyed the design for 5, along with the camera permit, the full permit. That, yes, sir. So
Okay.
I've got a good start.
Okay. Well, I think it's just, for the board to weigh in to see if the cost, if the revenue generated over the next 20 years for boat slips justifies the cost of putting them in. So that's where I'm at on it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other comments on the boat ramp? If not, we'll move to commissioner reports. We'll start with you tonight, sir.
I have nothing tonight. What? Yeah, I know. Surprising.
Okay. Courtney?
Well, I just have a comment or question. So could the board still vote tonight to allow you to do an extension? Or is it, since it was informal, can we do a formal vote here in public on our,
The board can direct me any direction they want to on this.
so I can make a motion that I would like to, when you talk to NCDOT, to request an extension or allow you to do a rebid?
If it was a desired board, yes, ma'am.
You can make a
Okay.
motion.
So there is a deadline, but I've not really got the exact date of a deadline that I ever heard of for this project. So at first, I guess I would like for you to be allowed to do a rebid or go to the next proposed, the 6 proposals that we got, to go to the next one. We still can abandon if we need to, but I think it's just smart that we have all our ducks in a row and do our due diligence and not have any ifs, because we don't know what the next one would be. We don't have the answers. And I just hate to walk away from $1 million grant, nearly $1 million grant. So I'd like to make that motion that we
Okay.
allow Gene to do his work and not make it hard for him.
All right, so you're making a motion.
Yeah.
All right.
He's expert. He's good. We're lucky to have him.
Okay.
So.
Is there a second?
I didn't hear the motion.
Sure, would you repeat the motion for the board?
So I'd like for Gene to be able to either go, we had 6 proposals. I'd like for him to be able to go to the next one to see what their price was because RK&K was so absurd. And also allow him to do a rebid if he thinks we should do a rebid. And also ask for extension with NCDOT.
Are we talking about the sidewalk again?
Um,
Oh, okay.
All right, so she's made the motion. Is there a second? Okay, without a second, the motion fails.
All right, and so I would like to thank the county commissioners because I reached out to them and they thought this was worth saving. So thank you guys for listening to me. I told them if I had an app, you know how you have an app for how many steps that you take? If I had an app for how many words I had, I would beat everybody because I talk to everybody. So I appreciate you guys, all your hard work and supporting us. Thank you. And Dot, I'm glad to see you here. We missed you. She's at like almost every meeting. So thanks guys for coming out. We appreciate y'all.
John?
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Ms. Scott, always good to see you. I'd like to, on a side note, and I'm sorry, Mike, but I want everybody here to pray for Mike Caldwell. He's going to have a procedure this week. Please keep me in your thoughts and prayers so he's with us next month. And I don't have to do the prayer because he does a much better job than I do. Chief Penrod, thank you. It is Chief Penrod, correct? Bob? Brian, great job. Thank you guys in the police department for keeping us safe and all the hard work you do. And to our staff, Heather, Kelsey. Sorry, I'll get it right. And I'm sorry, Courtney, but you know, sometimes no's a hard word to understand, and I think I might have been a little bit too firm on you, but
That's your,
I know.
Charlie?
I don't have any.
Okay. Steve?
Yeah, I was gonna kind of play it silent with this sidewalk thing, but there's a couple things I want to throw out there. Yeah, I was for it to start with, just like all 5 of us were, or I don't remember if it's this board or previous board. It started out going to be a 10-foot wide sidewalk, which in my mind, there's no way you can put a 10-foot wide sidewalk on this side crossing Deer Creek. Then they started talking about let's downsize it to a 4-foot wide, 5-foot wide, whatever. But the problem for me, as I thought about it more, was remembering when the board 13 years ago started the Cape Carteret Trail. Yeah, it's a good project. It's a good feel-good project, and but look how long it took to build it. But when you start looking at it, engineering is one thing, but you can engineer with the money in the grant, but when and how long is it going to take to get the money? Probably $2 million, I think, $1.5 million, $2 million to build it, and how much use? And I started asking people in Bayshore, and not a single one of them told me they would use it. So, yeah, I changed my mind. That's my prerogative. So I'm kind of switching my thoughts to finding ways to increase revenue through user fees, like I always have, to offset raising taxes. To me, it's called fiscal responsibility. It's called using what you got to make the most out of it. We invest a lot of your taxpayer money in the bank through no risk accounts, which we made a lot of interest on that. We rent these 2 buildings out front. positive cash flow. We rent the Manatee ramp. We make a lot of money off of that. Going to make some money off the Bayshore ramp. And I just didn't think a sidewalk was what we needed. Yeah, a slab of concrete that doesn't generate any income. And furthermore, the DOT, according to Mayor Baker, the DOT would put that sidewalk in free in about 5 years. So why should we spend $2 million to put it in now? So on the issue with the land dispute in Live Oak, I hate it's happened. I live there. I hear it probably more than anybody. I hear it on this end. I hear it in the neighborhood. Hopefully it's all over soon. And I personally don't like the fact that my neighbors were drug in the middle of it, but there's nothing I can do about it. I'm like the attorney. I personally am going to seek legal advice and see what I need to do. So with that, that's all I've got to say.
Well, I agree with Steve on the fact that you guys are here for that reason, that you got the letter. We have to be careful what we say because again, we're involved in this suit as well. And we don't want to put the town at jeopardy in anything at all. But, on a lighter note, thank you to our police department doing a great job. Staff, office staff, everybody's doing a great job. To be a small town and have the services we do is just unheard of. And to have the quality of services we do. I'm so thankful to be in this town. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. Second, John. All right, all in favor? All right. Thank you all for being here tonight. Talk a little bit.